I drop a lot of stuff, but I'll tell you one thing. There's not much that I drop more than V-brake pads hardware. It's just insufferable. We got that. We got this. Yeah, hopefully whoever is watching this has a nice little used bike shop in their town that they can go visit. If not, I mean, if you live here, come visit us. We'd love to see you. We are going to do some breakage. I should mention that my brake levers here, they were not designed for V-brakes, so we're going to do a little adapting. As far as housing goes, they use huge ferrules. It won't matter, but I have some of those stashed somewhere, I just don't know where. So I'm going to parrot beak this. See, I'm inserting the tip of my cutter into that to get a clean edge. Technically, you're supposed to grind them on the grinder to make them nice and flat, although that's for nerds, so just do it the way I did. We're gonna get ourselves a nice little stretch of housing. Oh, that was a clean one, look at that. I always open them up with a pick so that they don't give you any interference. Give myself a ferrule. I said, give myself a ferrule. How about a ferrule? There we go. I'm gonna get some cables. I'm not sure what you'll feel while watching this, and I'm not even sure if it's showing right now, but I really love watching people do something that they've done 10 million times before. I find it's like a visual ASMR. You get to see, well, it's kind of like those like god level speedy workers videos on YouTube. Do I need a ferrule for this? I do. It's just an interesting thing to watch, honestly. See people speeding through stuff that they've done 100 million times. So these are called travel agents, and they are going to help convert the old signal from these cantilever levers to the new signal for these XTR parallel push V-brake levers. So we get plugged in and look at our length. Looks pretty good to me. Like it a little long in case I want to go up with my stem. I'm going to try to line up this hole so that it's more or less up and go through this little side pipe here. Always with the side pipe, John. Now I'm going to go across the top. If I even can fit through there. It's a little gritty. Go across the bottom of the path here, out that little nipple. Find a little wormy guy. I know where I can find a little wormy guy. those will do. They match well enough. Kabloomp. Gonna lay this down inside that track there. I'm gonna do it too tight initially because I'm sure that the cable will settle once I've squeezed the lever. And there we go. I guess I really do need another brake pad here. Just like I'm all left feet. Y'all will have to pretend that this pad isn't on upside down. Like a lot of spring tension. It's pretty good. Got my diagonal cutters, often referred to as dikes. Also, see, I don't know how much my first boss just like sold me a bill of sale regarding all this bike shop slang, but I'm fairly certain that it's still called that in certain industries. It's Seattle, and I'm a nice gentleman, so I call them diagonal cutters. You see how this guy works? Little wheel, transfer to big wheel, and it changes the pull ratio. Now, let's go ahead and run our rear brake. I'm going to run it so that if I turn the bars all the way around like this, it doesn't bind. Plus a little bit extra. Huh, this Bourne song sounds like Benny and the Jets. Parrot beak. Parrot beak. Poker. Poker. Gonna need to ferrulize both ends of this. Now, I leave these more or less sort of blank. What I mean is you can crimp them on. So a lot of people will put them into their tool and squash them so that they stick on a little bit better. But again, I'm going for sort of brevity here. And also, don't let good enough get in the way of perfect. Like, what are you trying to do? Are you serving your community? Are you getting people back on their bikes? You know? I will do, especially on my own bikes, exactly the amount of work necessary that is safe and reliable, and no more. I once saw a video or an article about some mechanic who was such a nerd about like perfection. And here I am, Mr. Persian Rug. Nothing's perfect. So this person actually had a small measuring device, and every time they cut a brake wire, every time they cut one of these, they would put the measuring device onto the piece of wire and cut it so that they were always identical in size. Pretty silly if you ask me. Now here's the question. Do I put a sleeve or a donut onto the cable here? I think I probably will sleeve it just so it looks cool. Let's see. We're going here to here. All these do is basically keep the cable from twanging and from scratching up your frame. It's just a little plastic tube. Okay. Now we're going to go from here to here. I don't know what it is about me, but I love a man with a falsetto voice. It's unfuckwithable. Give me a Freddie Mercury or a Bournes or an Anthony from Anthony and the Johnsons, or Ione or whatever they're going by now. Let's continue. It's a little longer than I need. I might actually trim that just a hair. I'm going to do the same thing we did up front. Get my little hidey hole more or less facing out the direction it just came in. Although, I will say this about this Bournes fella. I could really do without the auto-tuning. Sometimes auto-tune is executed fairly well, but this song's a little bit much, honestly. Chorus is hot fucking flame though, it's amazing. So in a minute we're going to do shift, and then the bike's going to be done. I know the XTR will work just fine, and honestly, even if it doesn't work just fine, these shifters have a bailout friction mode, so it's going to work just fine. The only question is really, is this front derailleur going to work? So, let's find out. It goddamn well should. It's a little high. It's a little higher than I would like, because it has to clear the chainstay, but it is a friction shifter, so I guess we'll find out. We're down to the home stretch, folks. We're really down to it. Here's a neat trick. Rather than measure both shift cables, it seems to me that all you need to do is measure one, and if the frame stops are in an identical place, all you need to do is copy the size that you just measured. Yeah, I'm probably going to do two like that. So there's one. I'm going to copy another one just like it. I'm going to enlarge the holes in the sleeve. There's a plastic sleeve in these. I'm gonna go ahead and get some 4mm ferrules. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Just need 6. And I pound them. Pound them down onto the housing. It really helps to settle the entire system so you don't have to do it again and readjust your derailleurs over and over again. Got a little piece for the rear here. And that is all I need. Hopefully. Hopefully we don't get down to the wire and realize that something terrible has gone on. Let's let's do rear first, so that I can be riding high on success when I fail with that front derailleur. These can be difficult to get the cable through. Bear with me.